Hello, my dear friends. This is still Anna Kalanterna speaking, and I would like to start the next podcast of our marathon that is called Antipsychosis. Today, I'm going to talk to you about responsibility without any foreplay. So people asked me to have a live on my Instagram account and to explain what responsibility is because I talk about it a lot. Yes, I talk about it a lot and with pleasure, but I decided to speak about it here in this marathon. Sometimes I can be really obnoxious. Yes, I give a lot of free information, but at times I have this inner state like, what the hell? I'm giving so much free information, but you guys, please do something. Make a little tiny effort to get what you want. Okay, so now the emotional part is over and let's get down to responsibility. First of all, I'd like to say that people may confuse responsibility, duty, and guilt. Because the feeling of guilt and duty has been often imposed on people, it can make them irresponsible. Yes, that may come as a surprise, but it is a fact. I have already mentioned that when I was talking about a good girl and a good man in our previous podcast. And the list goes on. And I would like to speak about some of the phrases and some of the convictions that may seem as good and as bringing up something good in people, but in reality they have nothing to do with responsibility. For example, you can hear something like, a real patriot would, or a responsible person would never. Here I'd like to say that this is a really manipulative phrase. Or you can hear, a person who has brains will never. Okay, so where is the catch? The catch is that when you have an instruction, when somebody tells you what you should do or what you shouldn't do, bam, this is the first step to being irresponsible. Why? Because people just feel comfortable to stick to their own rights. And this is our psyche phenomenon. It's not good or bad. This is just a fact. This is a phenomenon, and you should take it into account. That's it. You just have to know about this phenomenon, that it exists. When people realize they are obliged to do something, when people feel that they owe something to others, as a result, they can feel guilty or they can feel even angry because you are guilty if you didn't fulfill the duty everybody is talking about. Okay, what kind of duties people cannot fulfill right now in this situation? Some of them are like your duty as a parent, your duties as children, your duty as a citizen of your country, your professional duty, your duty as a mate. And if you do not fulfill this or that duty in your life, you can feel guilty. And I often hear this from people. And when I ask people to take the responsibility for their own actions, people confuse responsibility and guilt. They think that being responsible equals to being guilty. And I get messages like, oh, right, it's all my fault. I'm guilty of everything that happened. And I want to say, like, guys, come on. Guilt and responsibility, these are two different things. So guys, stop feeling guilty for your own life. People, if you have this feeling of guilt, if you feel that something that happened to someone else is your fault, I have good news for you. You can fix that. And I have some tools and exercises in a special marathon, but everything that I'm talking about here in this marathon is already a tool that you can use for your own growth and for your own strength. So guys, just take these tools and just do it. And the next situation, when you expect from a person that he will fulfill some duty, for example, his civil duty, and he doesn't know about your expectations and he's not going to do anything, right? It is something like when people drive cars and there are certain road rules, and it is presupposed that everybody who drives a car follows the rules, yeah? But we know that it's sometimes people can break the rules. Yeah, people can act in different ways. And here, for example, you can take the responsibility for your own life. This is the part where you take the responsibility for your own life. So the point is that responsibility is realizing the consequences of your acting or not acting on something. Yeah? It means that if something happens to you, if something happens in your life, you are the reason. Because everything that happens to you is a chain of reactions where you play the main part. We always choose how to act, how to behave, and the result of our choice we see in our own lives. That's it. End of story. Even if it may seem that all of us are in the same conditions, in the same situation right now. Yeah, but no. No, some people feel really uncomfortable about the situation, but some people enjoy it. Some people enjoy taking it slow. So, what is our responsibility in these circumstances? Now, please remember basic principles of marathon runners. Number 1, accepting pain. Pain here is our circumstances. Number 2, realizing personal responsibility. Number 3, amendment that people who run together with us can behave in any way. We all would like them to follow the rules, but we cannot be sure of that. Number 4, your choice of acting or not acting. And number 5, your evaluation of the possible consequences. I'd like to include a little bit of esoteric stuff too here. The universe is not just an onlooker here. People who do not consider their own responsibility sooner or later will be in circumstances where they will have to learn their lesson. Okay, right now I'd like to make up a little summary and to give you a little exercise. So my summary is that irresponsibility of every human being comes from expecting from others that they will fulfill their duties. So while you are expecting others to fulfill their duties, you are ruining your lives and you get into a position of a victim. And here an important point is that responsibility for the quality of your life starts when you accept the situation as is, and when you take an active stand for everything that is happening to you. Alright guys, let's do the following exercise. This is the method of an unfinished sentence. So you take a pen and a piece of paper and you should write down. Sentence number 1. You describe what you don't like about the situation going on right now. Sentence number 2. You write down, I think that, and you write down who you think is responsible for what's going on today. All right? And sentence number 3, you write down, and now I take the responsibility for my own life, and I choose to, and you write down what you choose to do in this situation. This way, you free people who you thought were responsible for what's going on right now from this responsibility, and you take the responsibility for your own life. Example, I don't like that people do not follow the quarantine rules and they put me in danger when they gather in the stores. I think that everybody of them is responsible for our health as a nation, and they shouldn't go out and be dangerous for others. But what can I do right now? I can take the responsibility, take full responsibility, and follow the rules of quarantine. Or you can write down, I don't like that my business stopped because of the quarantine. I think that the authorities are responsible for that. Now, I think that I'm responsible for my own business, and I choose to be flexible and to get used to the situation that is going on right now. And then you can write how you will get accustomed to the situation. For example, you can transfer your business online, or you can change your profession. For those of you who took full responsibility for your lives, you can just write down the list of everything you don't like about the situation, and you can write down the list of what you really can do in this situation. What is this exercise for? Right now you can see that the usual way of life is being ruined. That when people do not follow the quarantine rules, other people get very stressed. So this exercise will show some weak points that appeared right now, that maybe appeared in your life, and you can see how you can solve all those issues, how you can tackle the problems that you're facing right now, and probably you can find some interesting solutions. You can look at the situation from a side. So when you have a lot of stuff going on, it can be very stressful. That's why, for you to keep your balance, you should define the degree of your responsibility, and you should take it into account. Doing this exercise, you will see that you have all the resources for solving all the problems that you listed. And here, the very important thing is to focus on yourself. And here, the important part is that only you are responsible for what's going on in your life. Not the state, not the government, because for the government and for the state, a person is just an item in the statistics. Not your husband or your wife is responsible, because they are also human beings and they are subject to difficult times. Your children or your parents are not responsible for what's going on in your life for the same reasons. Only you are responsible. So what you can do right now is that you can focus on yourself and your own resources. On this note, I'd like to say goodbye to you guys. Our next podcast will be devoted to money and resources, and the next podcast is going to be final in this marathon. Okay, see you in the next podcast. Bye.